Hello everyone, welcome to the 7th video by the community. In this video, we'll be talking about loop structures. Once we get to know what loop structures are and what they do in a program, and then we'll move on and discuss about the different variety of loop structure that our C programming language has to offer. Let us now begin our discussion on the topic loop structures. In programming, we may come across situation where we have to repeat certain tasks. Like for example, we may have to write a code which prints hello 100 times. Now you can achieve this task by writing a printf statement 100 times with a message hello. But doing something like this will consume your time, and at the same time your code base will become very big, and that's because of the 100 line of printf statement saying hello. Instead of this, what you can do is that you can make use of the loop structures in order to achieve the same task, which in this case is to print hello 100 times. Now repeating some tasks, which in this case is to write codes that prints hello 100 times, by making use of something known as loop structure, gets carried out continuously until a condition is satisfied. And this repetition of tasks is something which is known as looping. Now that we know what loop structures are and why they are used in a program, let us now go ahead and discuss about the first loop, and that is our while loop. Let us now discuss the first loop structure, and that is our while loop. Now what this while loop does is that it repeats this particular statement, and this repetition goes until the condition, which in this case is provided over here, proves to be false. Now what this means is that the statement within this while block will get executed on and on until this condition or expression proves to be false. Now if you look carefully at this line, you'll get to know that this condition should evaluate and return a logical value like true and false. If the condition evaluates to false, then the statements which is inside of the while block will not get executed, and if this condition evaluates to true, then these statements will get executed repeatedly until when? Until the condition finally becomes false. Now from the video on operators, we got to know that our relational operator and our logical operator are the only two operators which provides with a logical value, which are in terms of true and false. So this condition or expression should either be making use of our relational operator or our logical operator, or both these, since its return type are in terms of true and false, which is exactly what we need in our condition. Now that we know what while loops are, and we have even seen the syntax for the while loop, let us now see them in actual program. Now this is a very simple program which shows the working of the while loop, And what this program does is that it prints hello community 5 times. Let us now see how this 7 to 8 lines of code is able to print hello community 5 times. Now if you look at the code carefully, you can see that I have written a single printf statement, and I have made use of the while loop in order to print hello community 5 times. If you look at the code within the main function, you can see that in the first line I have created a variable by the name of I, and I have assigned our data type of integer, and then I have put a value of 0 inside this variable. In the next line we encounter our while loop, which is made up of a while keyword followed by the condition, and within the curly braces for the while loop I have inserted the code which gets executed every time this condition becomes true. So initially when the value of I is 0, the while loop checks the condition saying I less than 5. In this case it will be 0 less than 5, which evaluates to true, because of which the control of execution enters our while loop block and starts executing the first statement inside of our while loop. After this first statement inside of the while loop get executed, the first hello community message appears on our display screen. After that, a post increment operation is applied to the variable I, because of which the value of I changes from 0 to 1. So now the value held by our variable I is 1 and not 0, and then the flow of execution again returns to the while loop and it again checks the condition, but in this case the condition is 1 less than 5. Since the value of variable I has been incremented from 0 to 1 because of this particular statement. Now since this condition evaluates to true, the control of execution enters our while loop again, and then it prints the second hello community message. After the second hello community message is printed on the display screen, the value for variable I again gets incremented, and now the value for variable I is not 1 but 2. The control again returns to the while loop and checks the condition again, and in this case the condition will be 2 less than 5, which again evaluates to true. And in this way the third, fourth and the fifth hello community message is printed on the display screen. But once the value for variable I becomes 5 after the execution of this statement, the control again returns to the beginning of the while loop and it again checks for the condition, and in this case it will be 5 less than 5, which now evaluates to false. Now once the condition becomes false, the flow of execution goes to the next line following the while block, and the return 0 statement is executed. So now that we have understood how a while loop actually works, I want you to play around with this while loop. Change the condition, change the code within the while block and see how it functions.